Thank you for joining me this evening, and this is going to be my video entry to EastCoastPrepper's SHTF Prepper Skills Contest. To me, I think one of the most important skills to have is being able to use the resources that are around you to suit whatever your need may be. Now, SHTF situation doesn't necessarily have to mean an economic collapse or the end of the world or anything like that. An SHTF situation could be, you're broke, you can't afford to have somebody work on something for you, or you can't afford to buy something, so you're going to have to resort to making it. Or, worst case scenario of a SHTF situation, an economic collapse or something like that, people would have to make do with whatever resources they have around them to suit their needs. And myself, by trade, I'm a mechanic. I've got many years under my belt as far as being a mechanic, and I've always been good at, just whatever the situation may be, using just the odds and ends and scraps and salvaging, different pieces for this and that, and and putting everything together to make something useful, to make a useful product out of, what everybody else would consider to be junk. For example, here I made this is my little survival wood stove, and basically this right here, every bit of this was all scrap parts. The main body, the wood stove part, was, I believe, an old Freon tank. The valve was already out of it, so there was nothing in it, so I didn't pollute or anything like that, so I don't want to give anybody out there the wrong idea. On the bottom, I was looking around something for a base, and I had a couple old flywheels laying around, so I incorporated this flywheel, and I welded it onto the bottom for a bottom plate for a stand. And this door actually was enamel coated refrigerator drawers that used to be in the bottom, like you keep fruit and stuff like that in. This is the old drawer that I made my door from my wood stove out of. And these are just odds and ends, bolts and brackets and stuff that I made, a little handle. And as you can see, I made a little locking lever. Straight down keeps it locked, and if you want to open it, you gotta turn it. And for the top, this top was a backing plate for brakes on a Chevrolet ton truck. I kind of cut this along here and then welded it. I don't know if you can see that. I welded it all the way around the top, and this right here gives me a good flat surface for cooking. And I've had this thing going pretty good, and you can feel the heat from about 10 feet away, so it puts off pretty good heat. It's pretty fuel conservative, and like I said, I can cook on it. And I welded a piece of old exhaust pipe coming out of the top, and I've got an old piece of flex pipe for exhaust for my chimney. I can pull that flex pipe off and throw it in the back of the truck if I'm out camping, or if I just want to spend the afternoon on the creek or something and want to fire it up and cook on top, I could. Or sometimes I bring it camping. This is just one example. I've got other videos where I've made my own homemade knives and stuff out of pieces of steel. And this is also another piece of my handiwork. I'm sure some of you have seen the my video making my Bushman's knife, and this is the piece of steel that I made this knife out of. It's more of a machete type knife. I didn't see no sense in spending the money and buying one when I had some scrap steel. So I spent a little time, a little bit of hard work, and made this. I have done a little bit of work to the edge since it was last seen in one of my videos. Henry has not disappeared. I'm still working on it. Just whatever the situation arises, you know, that I feel the need that I need something, and I just start looking around for scraps that I can find that I might be able to incorporate into what it is that I'm thinking of. And I've always been pretty good at that, and I think that's a really good skill set to have, especially in a SHTF situation, because people will have to, you know, rely on their skills and their knowledge and their ability to be able to use the resources around them. Also, I think another important skill or mindset to have in an SHTF situation would be to always keep a positive attitude. I find that keeping a positive attitude, you know, things seem to go a little easier and not be quite as bad. It's when people get frustrated or when they panic, you know, things, you know, just take a turn for the worse. I'd just like to remind everybody to cherish your friends and your family, because what you have today might not be here tomorrow. Y'all take care, be safe, and God bless. Thanks for watching.